Do fathers regret abortion? Stay tuned. We'll find out. Hello, I'm Evangelist Alveda King, and welcome back to Pro-Life Praise. In this segment, we have a very sensitive and special topic, men and abortion. Now, friends, you've been following me since we started Pro-Life Praise in March of 2020. So you know I've had abortions and a botched abortion that gave me some problems with my body and all of that. We talk about women and abortion all the time. We talk about the little aborted babies, but we don't often talk about the dads. We've had YG Nightstorm right before Father's Day addressing that topic to a certain extent, but we have a very special guest this segment. He's a good friend, and we're colleagues at Priest for Life. He's with Silent No More, and I am, of course, with Civil Rights for the Unborn. Kevin Burke has written many books, and he's a musician and a singer and a songwriter, producer as well. We're going to talk to Kevin about men and abortion. Welcome, Kevin. How are you? And thank you so much for joining us.
It's an absolute pleasure. Great to be with you, Alveda.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to give you the whole moment now to tell us first about yourself, how you are affiliated with Priest for Life and Silent No More, of course, and to tell us some of your experiences of counseling men who regret abortion.
Well, along with my wife, Teresa, I'm co-founder of Rachel's Vineyard Ministries, which is a healing ministry for abortion. We're also pastoral associates with Priest for Life. So we've been working together, as you said, for many years, as well as with the Silent No More Awareness Campaign. When I first started being exposed to the work that Teresa was developing, her retreat program, I was a counselor. I've been a counselor for about 8 years with Catholic Charities. I've been seeing couples and individuals in therapy. I have to say that I was very ignorant about the abortion issue. It just was not part of my training. I attended a retreat, and as a part of that process, I went through the experience of it. And I was very surprised that providentially there were a number of men on that retreat. And as they had an opportunity to talk about their experience of abortion and their weekend progressed, I saw that they had equally intense feelings about their role in the abortion, difficult, conflictual, painful feelings. There were some differences, of course. Oftentimes the man's experience was one of a sense of shame of his role in the abortion, because in most cases the man is either being silent, or he's echoing the cultural message that, you know, it's her choice, you just need to support her. Or maybe he'd abandoned her in various ways, or manipulated, exploited her in a way that pushed her towards the abortionist. And the man is, obviously these men are at a point in their life where they're open to at least looking at that. So when they begin to open that up, they find that, boy, this is a much deeper emotional and spiritual wound than I even realized. And they begin to make connections to other areas of their life where the abortion grief and complicated emotions around that might have been contributing to some of the things they were struggling with their life and with their relationships. So that's a little bit of how I got exposed to that. And I've just been learning from men who had abortion, and of course from my own experience with an unplanned pregnancy in my own 20s. I was not the father of the child, but I had a role in that helped me also understand men who have been part of abortion decisions, which I can share more about as well.
Can I ask you, because I've heard you share with permission, sometimes without saying the names of those involved, some of the testimonies. Can you give us an example of a testimony you're familiar with that brings healing to others when they hear it, about a man perhaps who regrets fatherhood? I know you have several that you can refer to. So can you give us a story about that?
I'll give you story that's really an important one because it involves men who have an area of trauma or loss in their life before the abortion and how those two things fit together. We'll call this person John. And John grew up and he was very close to his father, idolized him like a lot of young men do. Unfortunately, when he was age 7, his parents divorced. He had no idea this was coming. All of a sudden, his father's not in his life on a regular basis anymore. And his mother, as she tried to reestablish herself, it seems that he reminded her in many ways of the father, and her issues with the father, she would kind of focus some of her anger on him. So he not only lost his dad, but he felt emotionally distanced from his mom. He had an unplanned pregnancy when he was a teenager. He was a very good-looking young man. And so he was able to get some attention from women and became sexually active, obviously looking to meet some emotional needs and the natural adolescent kind of drives and things. But he had an unplanned pregnancy. And here's where it got interesting as I learned from him as we worked in counseling. His experience with that abortion was really interesting because as a young person, he felt aborted from his family, emotionally aborted. That's how he described it. And then looking back at that unplanned pregnancy, he then, as victim in his childhood, became the perpetrator. He then took the life of an innocent child that he failed to protect, just like he didn't feel protected in his youth. And Alveda, I found this again when I was working, when I visited a prison where they had Rachel's Vineyard ministry, and so many of the men had previous abortions. And there was a similar dynamic where these men did not have a father present, or fathers were abusive or absent in various ways. And when they participated in abortion, it also connected with that father wound and that pain and that anger, and then they would act out that anger after the abortion.
Right.
And so that's a couple of examples of men's stories that really tell us how you have this synergy, kind of a toxic synergy that happens with the abortion experience and previous experiences of loss that can have really profound effects in men's life.
Well, Kevin, as you explain that, and I can get it, and I begin to understand, even as a woman, and one thing I do want to say, mothers, please, when there's a situation in your life and you and the father of your children are not getting along, don't transfer, I think that's what they might call it, that frustration to your children. Just please, we'll have to have another whole show, maybe with you and Teresa, about don't do that. And because that can harm them even more, and your pain can transfer. So we want everybody healed. Kevin, you and your good friend and associate, Henry Genara, I think if I'm pronouncing it correctly, you're very gifted as musicians and singers. And can you introduce the next song? We have one of your songs. Tell us a little bit about Jacob's Heart.
This is unique because usually Henry and Genaria and I write the songs together, and either one of us will sing. But I found this song from T.R. Glass. This is a father who had an abortion. And he was kind enough to allow us to produce and record the song. And in this song, Henry actually sings lead. And I must say to you, Henry Genaria is a huge fan of yours, Alveda. When he heard I was going to be on your show today, he was just very excited. And he's also the producer and plays a lot of the keyboards. He's a very talented musician as well. And so he sings on this one. But this is the father's story about his abortion that he experienced and him sharing his abortion regret, which came out of his healing experience, and a very beautiful healing as well. It's called Jacob's Heart.
How can I remember who I've never known? How can I see someone if he can't be shown? Oh Lord, show me Jacob's heart. How can I hear someone that has never talked? How can I walk with one who has never walked? Oh Lord, Show me Jacob's heart. Let me hear the beat that I never heard. Let me hold his hand, hear his first word. Don't want to think about how I made him cry. Don't want him to ever ask me why. Oh Lord, show me Jacob's heart. Do I say I'm sorry for doing what I've done, for taking the life of my firstborn son? Oh Lord, show me Jacob's heart. Please forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. I hope this was Jacob's prayer too, oh Lord. Show me Jacob's heart. Let me hear the sound of laughing in my ears, the playing of the games, the drying of the tears. I don't want to remember turning him away. I don't want to forget what I long to hear him say. Oh Lord, show me Jacob's heart. Oh Lord, show me Jacob's heart. Jacob's heart.
Kevin, that's just beautiful. And say hi to Henry for me as well. And you know, you, Father Dennis, and I, and Sam over at Priest for Life, and Father Frank, who can sing. We are very musical at Priest for Life as well. And so please visit us in our various websites to hear more. Kevin, you know that I'm executive producer of a movie, Roe v. Wade. And I believe that Roe v. Wade, by giving the absolute truth of how abortion became legal, may be able to help even fathers. What do you think? Would it be something good for maybe fathers to review?
Absolutely. I think it's very important that they view it, because I think they need to see especially the deception and lies that were at the foundation of this decision. And what they'll find is that once they face the truth of how abortion was legalized in this country, they can also begin to face the various lies that people tell themselves when they think that abortion is the best option, which of course the temptation is, it seems like that at the time, but it never is. Certainly not for the unborn child, but not for the parents as well. So I think it's an extremely important movie for fathers to see. Absolutely, Alveda.
Thank you, Kevin. I want to show a little clip about Roe v. Wade, my friends. If you've not seen it, it's streaming just about everywhere. So make sure you check out Roe v. Wade.
We will hear arguments in Roe against Wade. You may proceed.
If you really want to know how abortion became legal in our country, I will tell you the true story.
Dr. Mildred Jefferson, would you like to head up a Right to Life group that I'm starting?
Dr. Bernard Nathanson's clinics are performing 1,000 abortions per week. That's why I'm taking up the fight.
I wanted to get abortion legalized across the country.
We're looking for a pregnant girl to challenge the abortion laws.
We'll give her a pseudonym. Call her Jane Roe.
It's genius that we no one will ever know about her past.
First, they came after the Jews, and then they came after the mentally deficient. We did nothing. And now they're coming after the unborn. And so you're gonna do nothing?
Robert Burke for Henry Wade.
No judge or jury in their right mind would ever let abortion happen in Texas.
You've been watching too much TV. This case has nothing to do with women's rights.
It's God's duty to forgive. It's ours to rule the law. You're changing your vote because your family found out. Or was it the media?
If we don't sort this out, fur will fly today.
You are trying to control us, Warren, old buddy. That is completely unethical.
In the matter of Roe v. Wade, I want the case re-argued.
Faith in God, respect for his law.
That law being?
Human law.
We got the majority.
We're gonna win.
Perhaps this is beyond the authority of the Supreme Court.
We are the law of the land.
These girls should not be put through the pregnancy and should be entitled to an abortion.
God, forgive me, what have I done?
The true silent minority. Who is speaking for these children?
Along with Roe v. Wade, we have a bookstore at priestforlife.org. Please visit our bookstore. And Kevin, if you go to the homepage of priestforlife.org, you'll see Kevin and his wife, Teresa, and me, and other of our associates there. And you can kind of click there and find out more about our ministries. In the bookstore at priestforlife.org, we've got many of Kevin's and Teresa's works and books. Tears of a Fisherman and Rivers of Blood, Oceans of Mercy. That's a couple of Kevin's books. And I'm sure if you order it, we could maybe even get him to autograph it or something and get it back to you. And then you can find some of my books at the bookstore as well, King Rules and We're Not Colorblind. So please be sure to visit www.priestforlife.org and my own website, alvedaking.com, Alveda King Ministries. And you can find out more about our materials there. We thank you for your love and support so much. Now, I would like to share one of my own videos, and I hope it touches the hearts of fathers as well. Kevin, I believe that you talked about the what was the root? Let me ask you to say that again. There's a root of hurt in a father. What's the name of that?
Well, I think shame can be a very powerful emotion that men struggle with once they begin to face the truth of their abortion experiences, shame.
So that could be a hurt inside of a father, and he's feeling different types of things. I call that sometimes a God hole. Your dear wife, Teresa, helped me to find out about God and how to fill my own God hole. And so the same kind of healing is available to all of us, including the fathers and the men. I wrote a little song. Well, I didn't write it, I recorded it. It's a medley of songs about being closer to God. And it is called Walk with God. And I really do pray that people can be inspired by it. Let's walk with God.
Saint or sinner calls and always finds him there.
Kevin, I have so enjoyed this short moment with you. We're going to have to do this again, but let me let you have some closing remarks, and then we'll end with my new song with Kathy Lee Gifford, Your Way, Yahweh. Kevin?
I want to give a message to the men out there and those that love them. If you've been a part of an abortion decision, it's very difficult to open this area up to the light of God's grace. That shame can keep us wanting to stay in the dark. We don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to appear to others that we failed in this area, and that's understandable. What I can assure you from over 20 years in this work, and I know Alveda can amen this, is that if you do take that step out in humility, like St. Peter going out to the boat in the water with Jesus, you will be strengthened as a man. You will be blessed in ways you had no understanding that you would be blessed. Your relationships with your living children and your current wife will be blessed. Take the chance. There is healing available. Abortionforgiveness.com. You'll find abortion healing resources in your area. Men are most welcome, and men are, especially in our society today, we need our men to be strong leaders in our churches and in our families, and abortion healing will help strengthen you in a very important way.
And folks, I'll see you next time. Until then, let God have his way. Here we are closing out with Your Way, Yahweh. Bye. I have a philosophy, overcome evil with good. That's in the Bible. Don't be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. So I began to get to know God more, Yahweh. Let me do this your way, Yahweh. And that began to form as a song. So I met Ian and Barry. To my surprise, Kathy Lee Gifford came in on the project, and we began to worship the Lord.
In all the earth, there's none beside you. Open our eyes and let us see.
So it just shows us that we as people can come together. Now we just have to really learn how to say, Your Way, Yahweh. Are we going to stop doing it our way and start doing it God's way? My name is Alveda King. I'm inviting you to join in the worship experience, Your Way, Yahweh.